Yeah, Zach Bussey on Twitter is somebody I follow, and he is somebody who keeps tabs on content. You know, he talks about content. He talks about the environment of Twitch. He talks about all these things. And he's somebody I find to be, you know, like very, you know, educational, very resource, you know, very, you know, like in tune with the goings on of the platform. That being said, one of the things I have talked about before is with content creation is that, you know, especially here in the US, there's an ongoing thing with the housing market. Let's go ahead and preface it with this. We're not going to get political. We're only going to be talking about finances. We're going to be talking, you know, like, you know, things like that. So if you have any political opinions or leanings, keep them to your fucking self, and I'll do the same. Just because I wrote the rules doesn't mean I get to break them. The current economic environment is set to take a downturn due to the housing market and the way it has been handled over the past, what is it, like 2 years, something? Over the past while. Basically, people have been, you know, buying up houses and everything like that, and they've been buying up, instead of like, you know, loans with like what happened in, was it 2008? So there is, you know, the prospect of an oncoming recession. Technically, according to places that monitor the Fed, they monitor the, you know, the U.S. economy and things like that. We are in the start of a economic downturn. The reason I'm talking about this is because I've said it before and I'll say it again. Finances as a content creator, especially one who survives mainly through live streams, you know, like Twitch and things like that, and, you know, a subscription platform is very, very volatile. But it's something I've been looking at. It's something I've been keeping my finger on, and it's something I'm trying to plan around and, you know, like build safety nets with my own, you know, team and finances against. Because like I said, you know, when you rely on things like donations, when you, oh, not donations, oh, tips, when you rely on things like, you know, subscriptions, when you rely on the generosity of others to basically like make your paycheck, when times get hard, they're gonna hit you the hardest. That being said, we've never seen something like this affect the content creator community. The content creator community has never been in the you know, caught in the middle of a recession before. Because like Twitch kind of like really started around 2009, like really started to take off and things like that, which was after the whole housing market thing. And so content creators, streamers, stuff like that, we've never had to really like weather a recession. And, you know, content creation as a whole has never experienced that. With that on the horizon, doesn't the entertainment industry rely on the economy being good? Essentially, especially entertainers like myself, men, and others who are, you know, like live streamers. You know, we don't have, you know, stuff about, you know, we don't have, you know, like agents, or, you know, like we're not in movies and stuff like that. We don't have, you know, hundreds of $1,000s stored away for a rainy day. We don't live paycheck to paycheck, but our income is based off the generosity and the well-being of others. And so when others fall on hard times, that is going to affect us and affect our income. And so we actually, there's a video by Zach. I would like if we could, would you all be up to watch a YouTube video and see, you know, like what he has to say about it? Being a content creator in this economy, tips for creators to prepare for a recession. Yeah. It is, actually, we'll go ahead and read the about. The economy is on shaky footing. A recession is not guaranteed, but looking incredibly probable. And see, that's the thing, is I'm not a financial advisor, anything like that. I'm not an economist, but things are saying to me that, like, it is a possibility. He's very committed to helping out other content creators. Yes, I follow him as well. And that's why I really, really enjoy him. Watch this morning. Yeah. The creator economy has never experienced a true economic downturn, and the impact it might have on streamers, YouTubers, and other creators is unknown. Very much so. The content creator community is unproven in handling a recession. And so preparing for it the best that you can, especially if you're just starting out, or even if you're a veteran content creator, is going to be something that you need to do, if only so you have, you know, the soundness of mind, so you can sleep easy at night and be like, all right, I have this prepared. However, by diving into previous recessions and examining the impact on small businesses, I've tried to apply it to today's creators. I'm not an economist, nor can I predict the future, but if we do enter a recession, here are some tips creators can stop implementing today to protect themselves. And that's one of the big things, is cover your own ass. I am big on that. I will always be big on that. I want people to stay safe. I want them to be taken care of. And if in any way, shape, or form, this can assist in that, that is what I care about.
but they do have a pretty
there
good
we go.
reputation as being accurate. Said that we are now, for the second quarter, in a recession, and it is negative. And here's Forbes talking about that. Are we already in a recession? Excellent track record, and
There we
basically
go.
talking about
Yeah, and that's one of the things that he's talking about is according to these these organizations, they're looking at it and they're just like, no, we're already in the start of a downturn. We are already like, what did he say? It was, hold on,
second quarter.
For the second quarter. So for that, we've been in a quote unquote the beginning of recession for, what is it, like 6 months? And so when you have organizations that this is the entire specialty is looking at this and presenting fact data driven assessments of what's going on, like that's when it's like, oh no, like what is it, stuff's getting a little bit more expensive. No, this is hard data, and that's what I run off of. This hard data. I don't do assumptions. I don't do my feelings. I do data. That's why I'm really big into analytics. That's why I'm really big into looking at trends. It's why I'm really big into all of that, is because you can have like opinions are a dime a dozen and they can be all over the place. When you look at data and you analyze data and the data is telling you one thing, it's kind of like
in a recession. In a recession, the technical definition of recession is 2 quarters where the GDP is negative. Here's Forbes talking about that. Are we already in a recession? Yes, according to the Fed indicator, with an excellent
Do I enjoy Forbes? No.
Are
they a lot of good information? Yes.
Forecast. Again, not an official number, but it is a number worth noting. I had tweeted this out back on June 15th. There has never been an economic downturn in the influencer creator era, 2009 until today. Obviously, everybody knows the 2008 economic crisis.
Yeah, lived through that.
I think everybody does.
No, I absolutely fucking lived through that. Cab got out of high school in the mid 2000s. But yeah, no, I got out and I lived through that recession. I wound up homeless because of it. Because all the jobs in my area went. And that's why I wound up having to join the military, was basically to pull myself out of homelessness and poverty. So I know exactly what a fucking, like what a hard recession can fucking do and can entail. It's one of the reasons I'm like, wee woo. Fucking prepare for it now. Raise the fucking alarms and get your shit in order. Because it's better to be prepared and never need to be than, need to be prepared and, you're not. Don't let shit bite you in the ass.
So what will the impact of one be on creators?
No idea.
We are in a really interesting situation globally in terms of the impacts of the pandemic and what they have had on the economy. In terms of a record amount of money printing. In fact, 80% of U.S. dollars were created since the pandemic began.
Yes.
And that's not unique to the United States, by the way. Countries around the world, Australia, the Eurozone, Japan, Canada, they have all been very, very active in.
And I, not to get political, but like, that is one of the things. If you're going to make a statement, if you're going to talk about like, oh, things are going, look at it on a global scale. Look at what's going on around the world. We have to look outside of our little boxes, outside of our, like national borders, everything like that. Look at what is going on, and see, like, because that's one of the things, and I'm glad that Zach is touching on it, because it is something that is going on globally, and that is an indicator of things are not normal. They're not good.
Creating additional money in order to not allow the supply to completely, the liquidity completely dry up and allow things to continue functioning.
Yeah, because we have to keep things going, even in the face of a global fucking pandemic. Because like, it's a house of cards. It's a house of cards.
As a normal society, which is why we are seeing massive inflation.
Yep.
Anybody who's gone to the store recently probably
my fucking God.
Been shocked by the prices of things, particularly
every time I go to buy fucking groceries. Like, it's just like, why is shit higher now? Why? But yeah, no, it's
food. Now, I know that there's a meme going around that's everybody says, thank you, Biden, or thanks, Biden, for this kind of inflation. But this is a global issue. In fact, Russia...
Not due to the politicians. It's the fucking companies.
Russia's current inflation rate is 17%, Spain 10%, the UK 9.1%, Canada 7.7%, the Euro area 8.6%, Italy 8%.
Inflation is going on everywhere.
this is just a global issue. The only country that doesn't seem to be having any kind of inflation is, in fact, China, which is kind of intriguing. Now, other things that have obviously caused an economic impact are the supply chain issues, China's lockdowns that occurred. We have issues of employees actually wanting to be paid a fair wage for
fucking shocker. People want to be paid fair wages.
The work that they do. All kinds of issues. The issues are ongoing and continue to be a problem. And we're still in a pandemic where people are getting sick into hospital and dying.
Yeah.
So the reality is we are in a very, very unique situation, rather precarious, all things considered, in terms of the global order. And that's not even me mentioning a war that is currently occurring in Europe.
Yeah.
I could probably make an entire hour-long video talking about all the various economic issues and how they play into various supply chains and such. Not going to do that because I think that would bore you guys a little bit too much. So let's talk about the creator.
I mean, he's right though. Like it's not just not a one-sided, two-sided. You know, this fucking, you know, the issue that is leading all of this is like it might as well be a 100-sided die. There are multiple things that go into it. Trying to lump the blame on any one particular source is just, it's not good. And it feels almost disingenuous, I guess you would say. But when you look at things, you know, try to look at it in a large perspective, which honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say, with everything that goes into this kind of situation, which leads up, you know, to something like this happening, you know, the potential of a recession, that is a lot of sides to view. It's a lot of sides to view. Each of us are going to have our own biases, whether it is, you know, like moral, religious, political, whatever. We're going to have our own biases. And look, human beings are fucking stubborn. We do not, even though we want to take the high roads and pretend that we're fucking Vulcans from Star Trek and highly logical, no, we are emotionally driven, hyper intelligent, anxiety ridden fucking monkeys. Okay. But that does not mean that's what we have to be. We can try our best to understand things, look at things with an even hand and an even gaze, and try to understand what is going on so we can better prepare for it, so we can hopefully make the world a better place and help our fellows.
Economy, because that's what we're here for today. That's why I presume a lot of you are watching, is you are content creators yourself, or you're interested in this space, and you want to know what happens next.
Yes.
Well, we're actually already seeing the impact of what could happen at a much larger scale in an economic downturn. Here is Hunter, who shared sources. Over 20 people have been laid off from TSM today. Have heard it partially could be related to TSM's failed crypto investment strategy. Obviously, in a recession,
I'm not even
economic
getting
downturn,
a fucking crypto.
The riskier assets, the riskier businesses, things like Tesla, things like Netflix, all these kind of riskier tech businesses, they're the ones who get hit hardest and first, but ultimately ends up impacting the entire economy overall.
Yeah.
This is Watcher Guru saying, just in, Coinbase has lowered payouts to social influencers due to market conditions. Again, the canary in the coal mine. Cryptocurrency being very speculative, being very risky.
Highly
being
speculative.
One of the first to actually experience significant drawdowns.
Yeah.
We actually have an entire website here dedicated to layoffs, and just so far in 2022, 300 startups have laid off 46,000 people just so far. Just so far. And I think as creators, one of the things that we can best look...
I don't know about you guys, but I'll go ahead and say that's a pretty fucking big indicator.
Because again, as I said, we have never been in a situation where the economy has had a downturn as the content creation sphere has exploded. There's YouTubers, there's TikTokers, there's Instagrammers. We have all these different things. We've never experienced an economic downturn.
We haven't, because, you know, like we were saying before, the last one was, what is it? It was 2008 when the housing bubble popped. And like, you know, Twitch and, you know, like other platforms and stuff like that didn't really start to pop off until post 2009. So, you know, like I said before, the content creator community, highly unproven in, you know, a situation of, you know, like economic downturn. It's something we don't know about. But one of the great things that Zach is going to do in this video, when he's talking about Shoutcast was a platform where you had to set it up through a server. Well, yeah, but it's not going to be something like it was massively out there. We're talking about things that are reaching mass popularity. You have, folks who are here on Twitch interacting with, like global celebrities and being invited to large auspicious events. And it's just like, what do you do? I'm a live streamer. It's like for example, I'm use Ninja for an example. Ninja is one of the examples of creators making and look, I get it. Okay. Not everybody's going to like Ninja. This is not the place to leverage your critiques against content creators or say whether or not you like them or not. We're talking facts here. We're talking data. Was one of the individuals to basically make the jump from content creator to celebrity. All right. And he did it rather successfully. If you were to put PewDiePie, Ninja, Markiplier, fucking, let's go ahead. We'll throw Mouse in there as well. If you were to put all of them in a fucking room and be like, okay, and ask, like 100 people, who are these people? I would dare to say, like 80 to 90% of people are going to know who the fuck Ninja is. And they're going to be like, everybody else is like, who? These are not individuals who have backings of huge companies, even though like some people have sponsorships from like G Fuel. So G Fuel is a fucking niche company, but these are people who are, even at the level that they are not like top of the entertainment industry. And so if you look at it from that context, when you look at other smaller creators and you think about how this might affect the large kids, it's going to be even worse for the smaller folks. And so that's one of the big reasons, I felt like we want to talk about this. I felt like it should be something that should be talked about, is because the implications of it are scary. VTuber is niche. Twitch is niche. If we're going to be blunt about it. No, absolutely. You're absolutely fucking right. Paladin, you are absolutely right. We are niche within a niche within a niche. All right. The mainstream might survive, but the niche ones are going to get hit the hardest. And when we look at all the layoffs that happened with these startup companies, with these small businesses that are getting going and stuff like that, what the fuck do you think being a broadcaster is? It's a small business.
Which are actually actively kind of cutting costs. They're tightening their belts already to try to weather a storm, an economic storm that may be coming.
The big kids are tightening their belts. The big kids, Netflix, these large companies are like, it's time to fucking prepare. And there's your dose of deep fear. Yep. And it's fucking scary. But the fact of the matter is, you can be afraid. It is okay to be afraid, to be like, oh, this is fucking scary, but master your fear. Take that fear and turn it into something productive. You put that fear in your engine and use it to fuel your drive to prepare for a coming storm.
This post by Miguel Lazada of his partnerships at Elgato saying, creators, influencers, PSA. I've personally have had 4 of 6 quarter 3, quarter 4 paid activations canceled last week. Doesn't mean panic, but time to start making sure you are prepared for a possible rough patch. Time to start thinking and planning now versus later.
That, handles relationships with content creators that it's putting, and that's one of the great things I love about Twitter. Like as much as people want to shit on Twitter for being a shitty platform, I'm very much of the belief that curate your feed and you won't be having garbage, scroll across it. Use your mute button liberally. Use your fucking block button liberally. Fuck it. Do what's good for you to maintain your mental health. But the great thing about this is we have individuals who are working in industries like Elgato, who do stuff, with creators, and they now have a platform where you can communicate with them and they can raise red flags like this about oncoming storms. So we are not caught with our fucking robes hiked up around our waist and ass in the wind.
And finally, here is Night.co. They are a talent representative or a talent management company for some creators that I'm sure a lot of people know here. You're going to see a lot of recognizable names and faces. They recently sent out an email to their content creators saying,
the people that represent Mr. Beast are fucking like, literally has fuck you money. The agency that represents this man, you know they got to be doing well. Is sending this out to their creators.
Night creators. This is the note on the state of the economy, how we think it'll impact you as a creator, and how we suggest you navigate these choppy waters to come out stronger on the other side. First, some context on what's going on. For several reasons, supply chain issues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Things were a lot more expensive.
Yep.
Inflation hit 8.5%. It has since gone up. The stock market is down. Ads, your core revenue stream, will take a hit. And they actually have some suggestions here. Plan for less volume.
Planning for less volume. Yep. There's going to be less out there. Plan around it.
Spend globally across creator platforms will contract as marketers tighten their budgets. Plan for a 15 to 20% compression in RPMs. That is
significant.
A rate you get paid on YouTube.
Yeah.
For the next 24 months, a 15 to 20% drawdown.
Plan for a 15 to 24% drawdown for the next 2 years. Wait. Yeah, 15 to 20% drawdown for the next 2 years. There's going to be less money out there going around as people are going to be tightening their belts to weather the storm themselves. People will be less inclined to be generous. People will still be around. You know, you may grow in numbers, but revenue might take a hit. And that is why, you know, I as a creator, like I've foregone going to TwitchCon and, you know, a lot of, you know, like luxury spending and stuff like that, because I am trying to pad my own bank accounts so that my team that I work with, you know, Cy and Salty, you know, the artist and editor that I work with, they're going to continue to have paychecks, and it's not going to be me putting myself out. We're going to have, you know, padding. So if things are all right and we can kind of cruise along, but there's not going to be a lot of wiggle room, we'll be fine. But if shit hits the fan, I can hopefully have about 5 months of being able to be like, okay, we got 5 months to pull this out of a fucking tailspin, or you guys got to look for more work. But that also gives them time to prepare as well. So, you know, like, oh, we're 3 months in, things aren't looking good. They've got 2 months to like get themselves out there. We can use, you know, my platform and, you know, their platforms to generate hype, to get them more commissions, to get them stuff like that. But at the same time, even then, it's still going to be hard because different things like this are a luxury. And when times are hard, people don't spend a lot of money on luxury things. Yeah, exactly, Reploid. Artists will be hit, will have a hard time no matter the skill. Absolutely. What's the name for this video? We're gonna drop it at the revenue. We're gonna drop it at the end.
4 months. On the brand deal side, we strongly suggest you hold rate cards even, which means do not devalue yourself. Again, these are speaking to their top creators. Defend your value in the market. Your value to brands has not gone down. In fact, you can argue, given the changes in the ad world, your reach and authentic fan engagement has become more valuable. That said, you should plan.
Yes! Yes, 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 yes! God, I'm so fucking glad he touched on this. Just because the economic there's an economic downturn does not mean your value as a creator is lessened. You, as a creator, as somebody who's out there who's producing content, who has an audience, who has the ability to engage people in calls to action and things like that, you have arguably become more valuable. And so like, if a company wants to fucking shortchange you, and like, you know, they're shortchanging you, and like, you're not in a hard position, you have the grounds to fight back. And you should not be afraid to fight back.
To see 20 to 30% fewer opportunities. Consider cash now, consider other monetization opportunities, make firm financial plans, be prepared with rainy.
Make firm financial plans. You have a real audience, hold your value. Exactly. You absolutely should. Due to loss of jobs, viewership may even increase like we saw in COVID. Maybe. And here's the thing is, if you stick with that, if we do, see a point where people are watching more Twitch, they're watching like more VTubers, they're watching more broadcasters because they have more time on their hands and stuff like that. And this is one of the reasons I stress so hard about people can be a part of the community, even if they don't contribute, is because I know that was the case for a lot of people with the pandemic, with everything like that. Because there were people, they were watching Twitch because they had nothing fucking better to do, and they needed something to take their mind off of things so they could get through their fucking days as they're trying to like juggle the world around them that is not really giving them a lot of opportunities. And that's one of the reasons I always say content is free and content will remain free. I'm a firm believer that if you build a community, if you build a loyal following, if you go and you find your, 1,000 true, 1,000 true fans, you'll be taken care of, all right? Everything else will follow. Focus on building the community. Focus on making yourself somebody that people enjoy and whose content you enjoy. Everything else will be taken care of.
Day funds and be conscientious of hard times.
Exactly.
I have a little slide.
Be conscientious. Oh, hold on, let's go back to that real quick. Be conscientious of hard times. Be cognizant of how a recession could impact popular culture and the attitudes of your fans. Tone matters. Let's be careful how we flex our content. Read the room as the world potentially changes. This means flaunting Lambos will be considered tone deaf when there are mass layoffs across the economy. The same aspirational content that resonated with your audience last year will likely come off disconnected during a recession. That is exactly what I was just fucking talking about, all right? My main concern, all right, with creating content is not having a fucking streamer mansion. It's not about driving a fucking Lambo. It looks insanely comfortable anyways. I wouldn't want to fucking drive that. It is about raising my friends up. It is about creating content that people enjoy for the sake of creating content. But yeah, and that's, that is one of the things. It's, be aware of the environment that you are in as a content creator and who you are engaging with as a content creator. The people behind the screen are exactly that. They're not just names on the screen. They are people. And if the world is in hard times, there's more than likely going to be a lot of people who are also having hard times. Be aware of that. Empathize with your fellow human beings and make your community a place where they can come and they can have a good time and maybe escape the woes of the world for a little bit while they are trying to fucking survive. Because you would be surprised how just that little bit of kindness, that little bit of like understanding what folks are going through will pay dividends as a content creator.
Conscientious of hard times. I have a little slideshow here that I'm just going to give to you guys to kind of hit the bullet points on what you need to do in order to survive a recession.
Educate us, Zach.
Sure what's going to happen, but we can kind of predict based upon previous recessions. I looked a lot at the 2008 recession and how it impacted small businesses to kind of extrapolate what could happen to creators in a recession that occurs in 2022 to 2024. And here are my suggestions to you.
Extrapolation of previous data, even if it is not exact, is insanely fucking valuable. Being able to take something that has a lot of similar connotations, a lot of similarities, and being able to take the data from that, line it up with what is going on at the moment, and then extrapolate a prediction from that. That is an insanely fucking valuable skill. That's actually me and Pumpkin were talking about that the other day when she was talking. So she had her birthday stream, and she's like, "Well, I have no data to back this up against," and so I was just like, "Here is my data." And so we can take my data, we can take your data, we can look at these trends, we can look at things, that have, happened before, and we can kind of, extrapolate how things are going to be, like going forward, how, birthday streams may be in the future, things like that. And we can look at it and be like, okay, this is, the trend that we're on right now. This is, this is the proposed growth of, the growth incline that we're on at the moment. And, we can, look at that and like, oh, we get to this point. And, you can get it's not going to be an exact measurement, okay? But you can kind of approximate. You can be like, okay, this is kind of where we're going to be around, and like plan for lower and plan for higher. But at that, you kind of have the feel of it. History is a treasure trove of life lessons. It absolutely is. That's one of the reasons I'm a big history buff. I love looking at history. Not just, analytical history and, like market history and things like that, but on, like looking at world history and, learning stuff from that. People who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Number one, hold cash in hand now. Don't invest in risky things. Obviously, do not go out there and purchase Dogecoin expecting to do it to hit $1. Holding cash. Cash is king. You're going to want to cut your costs as much as possible. If you've been meaning to cancel Disney Plus or Netflix.
Did I just say about setting up and padding my accounts so my employees have wiggle room? There it is. Right there in writing. First bullet point. Have your shit stashed away for a rainy day so you can keep operating without having to worry about where things are going to come from. I'd say cancel all useless subscriptions. No, that's one of the things I'm going to be looking at. Oh, actually, no, I did that in the middle of the year before we went on the Poland trip, me and Mrs. Cab, is I went and I went and I canceled like a bunch of like subscriptions that, you know, I just wasn't like going and using anything like that. And I'm going to be honest, it freed up a, not small, but like, well, not a large, but like also not a small amount as well. And I've been able to kind of take that and like, you know, stash it away because of that. Earning money in cryptocurrency, that's cute. I mean, like, look, I had $15,000 in profits last year from Ethereum. So it's about being smart. It's about recognizing the market. It's about knowing what you're doing. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do. I do, however, understand crypto though.
You simply haven't done it. Now's the time to do it. Save a few bucks here and there. Build up your savings. Again, don't go out and spend a lot on things.
It's surprising how much you just have like out there going into things.
And wait for opportunities to buy later on once prices are down or the economy is starting to recover. And lastly, create a budget. Don't just live your life without a budget. You absolutely have to have a plan on how you're going to spend your money and where you're going to spend your money. 2, diversify now, otherwise you'll be forced to later. And that'll be a lot harder to adjust to later on.
This is why I've been talking about recently, you know, taking the content that we produce here, but also using it for hitting up YouTube, using it for TikTok. We're doing merchandise that we're working on. We're working on displays. We're working on all of these things. Essentially what you're doing, especially as a content creator, it is you are taking and instead of just like, oh, I stream on Twitch and that is it. You've got your one fishing pole and that's anything you're ever going to catch anything on. You're in the pond of content creation and you're setting out multiple poles. You're diversifying. You have a better chance of landing that catch, which is going to let you fucking eat the next day. Yeah, exactly. Joey, syndicate, because when times are hard, every fishing pole you got in the pond may be a meal for you later.
Things like Fiverr, Etsy, merch store, Patreon, OnlyFans, Fan House, all these different opportunities to actually diversify your income now are so crucial. I've been screaming about this for probably 2 years now, no, longer than that, 3-4 years, that too many, particularly streamers, live streamers, are too reliant on a single point of failure in terms of all.
Boom! He said it! A single point of failure. Don't go fishing with just one pole, all right? Because if you catch nothing with that pole, you're gonna fucking starve. But like one of the things we're thinking of doing is like, so for example, me, Sai, and Salty, we have like a monthly meeting, right? And one of the things we were thinking of doing is when we have like our monthly meetings where like we talk about content and we talk about, like everything that we're gonna be doing on behind the scenes. We kind of like review content. We look at that kind of, well, we take that critical eye to like what we're doing. And, go over things, review, pitch ideas, stuff like that. One of the things we were thinking of doing is taking that and essentially if we were to open up a Patreon, that would be like kind of like almost like a monthly podcast that we would then stick on the Patreon. And so people could, basically you see how the sausage is made and you could, see like our thought process into, like why we're doing things, like why we may have done one thing and now we've decided to, axe it. Everything like that. And that could be, something that people could, have more insight into content creation through. We were also thinking of going on like, Patreon and stuff like that and doing like, like this is, art that we're working on behind the scenes for certain things, previews, maybe have, first look at content before it goes live on YouTube. Things like that. Things like that is what we've been batting it back and forth for things that might go on the Patreon. Would be helpful to new creators too. In some way, this sounds like an investor meeting. Sort of, kind of. When it comes to content, essentially what you're doing is you are, you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your own time. You're investing in your own skill into, into building something. Maybe collabs, spread the visibility of other streamers. Maybe. I don't know. Well, no, collabs tend to go out on the YouTube and everything like that. And that's one of our ongoing things is like whenever we have a collab with another creator, I have side turn it into a YouTube video.
Of their income, and that is streaming. One of the most direct and easy important ones is YouTube. And I think there's actually going to be long tail benefits to having a YouTube channel that will be particularly important in the future. We'll talk about that more in a second here, but keep that in mind. I believe that a YouTube channel is going to be particularly important. What we might actually see, or what we'll probably continue to see, or the steps in which we'll see them, are marketing cuts and layoffs.
Yeah.
Marketing, PR, influencer marketing roles will likely see layoffs. We're already starting to see that. We've already seen some businesses that have cut. We've already heard stories of people being let go without any warning. Terrible stories. You never want to hear people losing.
We did. Yep. And there was a lot of economically from the business perspective. I understand why they did it, but the way they handled it was fucking trash. And they should have known better. They should have handled it better. They should, that's one of the big things is, I'm very much on, like I work with Salty and Sai. I give them a paycheck. I'm very much on like, hey, if shit's going to get rough, I'm going to let you guys know beforehand so you can line shit up so you can be taken care of because I want people, I am people first, profit second. It's great if we make money, but I'm not going to make money at the expense of others. And, to see how some places have handled it, well, I see what kind of leadership you have.
Their jobs, but I think we might see this a lot more if the economy goes into a deeper recession. In line with that, if there is not layoffs, and maybe it's in tandem with that, there's going to be cuts to marketing campaigns. So
let me go ahead. What is he about to say? There's going to be cuts to marketing campaigns. You're going to get less from your sponsorship offers. You're very cool, Mr. Cab. Well, Blue, thank you very much. I super appreciate it. And Voltus, see you later. Hope you're able to come back and have a informative time with this later on. Ding ding ding. What are we ding ding dinging about? But yeah, no, it's very much it's so like like you get like an offer from like Raid Shadow Legends or something like that, and it's just like, oh, we can offer you like a minimum of like $300 and up to like $1,500. What's probably going to happen is, next time you get an offer from Raid Shadow Legends, if this does pop up, it's like, oh, we can offer you like $150, $100. And it's like a maximum of like, like 700 instead of 1,000 or something like that. To cut the sponsorship money. Yep.
Anytime that you're reached out to by a brand and they say, hey, we have a budget to spend, expect that to happen a lot less. We saw that night email that said a 20 to 30% reduction in overall influencer marketing campaigns. It's important to note that that was, again, speaking to top creators.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast, Hassan Abi, all these kind of giant creators that are probably going to weather the storm no problem. They're not necessarily worried about cash. As a smaller creator, you absolutely have to recognize that the impact is going to be much more significant on smaller creators than it is on big ones. Next, and this is going to be the toughest one that I think you're going to have to deal with as a creator. Yeah. Community layoffs.
This was what I was talking about earlier.
People within your community, people who have been longtime supporters of your channel, subscribers, mods, VIPs, etc., will likely also, some of them may experience a layoff themselves. That is going to be a particularly difficult time for a lot of people. They're going to have to cut back on subscriptions to your channel. Maybe that means less bits, less donations, less tips, less purchasing games, less things from your throne wish list, etc. And it's going to be
no more fucking rice cookers. All right? Prepare the fucking storm. No more rice cookers. This is why I say be financially responsible. Plan for the future. Take care of yourself first and foremost. And when you get that payday, put some away for a rainy day. Don't spend it on VTubers. All right? If I take a hit to subs, if I take a hit to bits, if I take a hit to profits, that's fucking fine, okay? Like I said before, I do this for fun. I don't do this because I need to. All right? I get a paycheck for having a fucking pulse from the VA. I am taken care of. You all need to take care of yourselves, first and foremost.
Important for you, to recognize that that's a reality of an economic recession.
It is.
That they won't be able to support you the same way that they did when times were good.
And I feel, one of the reasons I want to bring this up is because, there will be some people who be like, oh, I'm not getting, I guarantee you, if this shit happens, I'm going to be getting messages from other creators and they'll be like, Cab, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I'm getting less subs, I'm getting less donos, I'm getting things like that. This is why I wanted to talk about it now, so we know about it now. It's not that people like you less. There is less to fucking go around, and people are trying to have their own lives secure and taken care of. And the luxury of throwing money at VTubers is not going to be there for some folks. And it's not an indication that you are a bad creator. That's just the reality of it. So if you get it in your head that this is somehow, a measure of you, as a creator, no, you're going to fucking emotionally destroy yourself with that. Your content is going to spiral, and then you will actually start losing people because it puts you in a bad mood. You are no longer able to enjoy your, making your content and, having a good time with your community. And that is important. You have to be able to keep yourself in a good headspace because people can tell. People can tell if you're fucking faking it.
Keep that in mind now, because that's going to be a tough one, I think, for a lot of people to manage.
That's perfectly fine.
A big whale supporter no longer is able to support as much as they once did, or just regular people who subscribe $5 a month no longer being able to. Be very careful, because I think that, again, we have not seen an economic recession, but I think that a lot of people are going to have some weird hurt feelings surrounded.
There we fucking go! Ring, ring, answer the fucking phone, because I called it. Well, supporter, I hate that term. It's an industry term. Like, I'm not a big fan of it either. I really don't like it, but, it's an industry term.
Around this.
Yep.
This is going to be a particularly interesting one in terms of the social dynamics of a community. This is where I think that YouTube has a long.
I'm not prepared for streaming. My friends and cool people stream too much. I can't find time. That is unfortunate. Like, I run into that a lot. Blue is one of the issues, that I have with, one of the few issues I have with streaming, I have with content creation. I don't have time to go watch my friends. I don't have time to go watch people that I enjoy. And that's just, it's a fact of life. I used to really be big on watching Mouse's streams. Unfortunately, I can't anymore. I'm busy. I've got other shit going on. I've got to manage the community. I've got to manage my socials. I've got to, talk with my team about coming up with new content and stuff like that. It's I can put a stream on in the background, but I got to make sure that, I go and I get sleep and everything and stuff. It's you can't succeed without sacrifice. And so you have to figure out what sacrifices you're willing to make. And if success is, something you're willing to sacrifice for.
Subscribe $5 a month, no longer being able to. Be very careful, because I think that, again, we have not seen just regular people who subscribe $5. Keep that in mind now, because that's going to be a tough one, I think, for a lot of people to manage. That, a big whale supporter no longer is able to support as much as they once did, or just regular people who subscribe $5 a month no longer being able to.
Yeah, times are going to be hard.
Very careful, because I think that, again, we have not seen an economic recession, but I think that a lot of people are going to have some weird hurt feelings surrounded around this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is going to be a particularly interesting one in terms of the social dynamics.
I've been trying to do content. I don't know what to do.
This is where I think that YouTube
do what you enjoy
has a long tail benefit to creators, because people during recessions seek out ways to consume content for free.
Yep.
We may see an increase in views on YouTube.
Yep.
And Twitch and any other kind of TikTok, etc.
Content is free.
Don't go out to get entertainment. They stay home and watch things instead. They will be spending less. Again, that relates to community support. And because marketers have to trim their budgets, their ad rates will go down as well.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for you as a content creator? Well, we'll probably see a lagged effect where your YouTube channel may go, let's just go for an example of if you had 1,000 views before and you were making $7 per 1,000 views, you may now at a year into a recession, maybe getting 3,000 views, but you're only getting $3 per 1,000. So your total amount gained is $9 instead of $7 for 3 times as many views.
Yep.
The long tail effect of that, though, is that will continue to build upon when times start to get good again. When we exit a recession,
and we start to get into the talk of the long game. And this is something I'm very, very big on. And I've talked about this before, is that content creation is a long haul. You see the folks that are big now, a lot of them have been at it for years, if not a decade plus. Like, for example, you know, we look at, you know, Mouse, for example. She started streaming in 2017. It's now 2022. She was recently, you know, the most subscribed female creator on the platform. Another example, you know, from these shows was Nana's. Nana's been in content creation for a decade. Taka, yet again, another individual, been in content for a super fucking long time. All right? It's a long game. And like, even if you're going to hit hard times, you have to realize that hard times are not forever. Especially, you know, with an economic downturn like this. It's not forever. And they're looking at, they're estimated about 2 years. It could end sooner. It could go on for a little bit longer. But this is one of the things you have to look at when you're looking at everything. It's like, yeah, you're going to have more people coming in. You're going to have more people tuning in. You're going to be making less money from it. Which, you know, as I said before, I'm a firm believer you shouldn't be doing it for money anyways. You should be doing it because you're having a good time doing it and for the sake of doing it. But yeah, no, artists need to be paid. And I fully understand that. But this is the long-term effect of it, is that you will have more people coming in. You'll have more people watching. So when things start to come out of the dip, and they start to go back up, and that RPM goes up with everything else, play the long game. Plan long term. It's good to know what's going on in the here and now, but there's a reason things like a 5-year plan are common. All right?
We're back into growth. You'll have the benefit of now having a channel that has grown significantly during an economic downturn that can now thrive in an upswing.
Yep.
Recession-proof sponsorships are something that people should be considering and looking at right now. There's a lot of recession-proof industries that throughout history of recessions have not experienced as significant a drawdown as others. Things like makeup, food, clothing, any kind of commodity, those kind of things that are not an elastic demand that people always need to have. Those are the kind of companies that you should be looking at if you are trying to lock down a sponsorship. They're the ones who are going to continue to have demand for their product, which means they do have continued demand in order to get their product in front of people.
Yes.
In 2008, one of the interesting things that occurred from 2008, energy drink. Evidently, through the 2008 recession, Monster was one of the things that actually thrived during 2008's economic crisis. So look for recession-proof sponsorships, companies that are recession-proof, and try to work with them. Think about how you would market their products now on your stream if you're going to take a brand deal with them. And lastly, it's important to recognize that recessions do not last forever.
Exactly. We just talked about that. They don't last forever. It is eventually going to pass. The last one took about 2 years. Companies and influencer agencies are estimating that this one is going to last somewhere around 24 months, but it could be shorter. It could be a little bit longer, but I wouldn't suspect by much. I would think that if it's going to last a little bit longer, it's probably going to last maybe 32 months at most. Watch that come back to bite me in the ass. But yeah, it doesn't last forever. And like we were talking earlier, when people are stuck at home, you know, due to recessions, due to pandemic, due to global events, due to whatever, you're going to see growth on your platforms, but not necessarily growth of profit. And if you're a content creator, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use that opportunity to further, grow your community, show people, what you have to offer as a content creator, not worrying about the profit of it. Yet again, you're doing it because you love it. But hopefully you also have plans to take care of yourself in place. Allow, to use that opportunity, use that exposure, use that instance of people staying home and watching content to grow your platform so that once this recession is over, once, people are back in, opportunities, where they can take care of themselves, where they have, extra, like liquidity, or, extra liquid funds, in their accounts, and they are feeling generous and they are inclined, to want to give back to others, that they have spent time with and enjoy, you are going to reap the benefits of that as a content creator. And that, that is, it's marketing. It's marketing. It is, smart business. It is everything like that. Like, don't go out with the objective of like, oh, I'm going to make people enjoy me for the money. No, do it, make good content because you enjoy good content. But the side effect is going to be that you're going to provide a place for people to come and be distracted from the harsh times that are going to be ongoing. And when you do that, people will be grateful for that. And you'd be surprised just how grateful people will be.
Average recession, I believe, over the last 120 years has been about 15 months. Some of those have obviously been shorter technical recessions rather than true recessions, but generally speaking, the belief is that a recession lasts between 18 to 24 months. If we are currently at the 6-month mark, that means that we potentially still have an entire year or a year and a half ahead of us with an ongoing recession that we're going to have to live through. It could be longer. Again, as I mentioned before, this is the typical time frame. It could be longer because there's a lot of factors that have not existed in previous recessions, particularly related to a pandemic, war, supply chain issues, lockdowns, money printing. There's a whole bunch of different effects that may actually make this a deeper, longer recession. We don't know. I can't predict the future. I wish I could, because if I could, I'd be making better bets right now. But alas, we can't.
Very fair.
Just know that recessions don't last forever.
Exactly.
If you thrive or at least survive as a content creator through a recession and you do not have to quit, a lot of people will, then you set yourself up.
It's unfortunate, but like, look, at the end of the day, like if, content isn't paying the bills and you need your bills paid, you've got to do what's right for you. Like I'll use my friend Zozo, for example. My friend and mod Zozo. Zozo got a business opportunity from the place that she works at full time, where basically like the money was too good to turn down. And as much as she loves content creation, this was a chance for her to get ahead of everything, for her to really, really put herself in a very good economic, like in a good financial position. And so she, like I sat and I had a discussion with her, and like it wasn't what she wanted to hear, which was they're like, no, you're gonna keep creating content, you will, be taken care of because you create good content. I was like, no, this is an opportunity. You need to take this, because this is going to be good for you. This is going to set you up in the future to be able to create better content and make sure that you are, your mind is free and clear to do what you love. And so currently she is on hiatus. She's on hiatus because she is doing that. She is taking care of herself first and foremost, because content will be here when she fucking gets back. Like, I know I'm not going anywhere. A lot of the other friends that she's made in content creation are not going anywhere. She still has all those connections that she has as a content creator that will come into play when she comes back.
For an absolutely fantastic explosion in terms of your popularity, in terms of income, after recession ends, and as we go back into an economic growth period. So that's my talk. I hope it was helpful to you.
Grim, why you gotta do this to me? Why you gotta do this? Or if you could work a job for the paycheck and do a little content on the side. Yeah, like she gets an opportunity to come in and do a stream like every 2 weeks or something like that. We just talked about saving cash. Well, I'm scared. Here's the thing. You can either choose to be ruled by your fear, or you can allow, this cautiousness of this oncoming situation to drive you to set yourself up to a more secure position.
Again, I cannot predict the future. I hope that we don't enter a long, deep recession. But based upon a lot of the indicators that are out there, it doesn't look like that optimism is going to be fulfilled. If you enjoyed this video, please.
It's good to be optimistic, but it's better to be optimistic but real.
Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or if there's anything that I might be able to help you with. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Watch your dollars.
Yep.
And I'll see you in the next one.
Just drink the Kool-Aid.
All right. So that was wait, hold on. Is it? How do I fucking okay? That was Zach Bussey. He's an amazing content creator. He talks about a lot of really good things on like that. You know what? I'm not. I'm not subscribed. Weird. I follow him on Twitch. I'm not subscribed. There we go. Subscribe to him. I'll drop the link for the video right here. It's a very good video. He talks about a lot of things that are good for content creators to kind of know when they're getting into content creation. He talks a lot about market. He talks a lot about tactics. He talks a lot about the environment of content creation. He's an absolute asset. But it is, you know, he's somebody that I deeply enjoy as a creator. And so that's you know, I'll drop the link for his video one more time. You can go in there, you can watch it. Please like it. He absolutely deserves it. That is a massive video, which is a massive asset for the content creator community. And I'm super glad that he has made it. Is he part of the cult? I don't think he even knows I fucking exist.